Good morning, guys. So today, or this week, we are going to be evaluating logarithms, evaluating natural logarithms, and changing the basis on logarithms. Now, I do have my phone right in front of me because I wanted to make sure to have examples that work out for you so it doesn't confuse you even more. Once you get the hang of this, is actually pretty easy, and you should be able to fly through it pretty quickly if you get the hang of it. If you don't, even after this video, you can always send me a text message on Remind, screenshot it, and I'll help you through it, okay? Don't keep getting it wrong over and over and over and over. It's wasting your time, okay? And frustrating you. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to evaluate logs. Evaluate logarithms. Okay, hopefully you guys are okay with my abbreviations. Okay, so say you have this formula, you have the standard formula. So you have log of x, then you have y equals something. You have to think to yourself, x to the power of what will equal y? Answering that question will give you your answer to the whole problem. So for example, if you have log of 2, 16, what does that equal? 2 to the power of what is 16? Well, 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 again is 8, times 2 again is 16. So my answer is 4. Okay, so it's 2 to the power of what equals 16. So let's try another one. You have log, and then you just have 1,000. Okay, now this doesn't have that x value down here. If it doesn't have that x value down there, it is assumed to be 10. So 10 to the power of what is 1,000? Okay, it is 3. 10 times 10 is 100, times 10 again is 1,000. 3. Okay, let's try another one. Let me get my examples going here. Okay, they do get tricky. They are going to throw fractions at you. Okay, so you're going to see log of 1 over 100. Okay, now remember, if there's no x value, that is determined to be 10. 10 to the power of what is 1 over 100? Well, it's throwing me off because guess what? It's a fraction. I know 10 to the power of 2 is 100, but is that 100? Yeah, it's 100. So 10 to the power of 2 is 100. So how am I going to get it a fraction? Well, in order to get it to make it work with a fraction, you're going to put a negative 2. So your answer is just negative 2. Okay, because remember, when you have negatives and fractions, that means if you have it to the power of, that means you're doing the reciprocal. Okay, so you have to remember all those rules from before in order to be successful now. Okay, so what happens if they have, let's make it a little more difficult, log to the power of 1/8 is 64. Okay, now if this number right here is smaller, this number, your x value is smaller than this one, it is still going to be a negative number. Okay, I know 8 to the power of 2 is 64, but remember we had that fraction, we'll have to flip it, so it's again going to be negative 2. That's an ugly 2, but it's negative 2. Okay, now what happens if I do this? Log of 81 is not and 9. 81 to the power of what is 9? I know if I do it backwards, 9 to the power of 2 is 81. If you have to go backwards, so your x value is bigger this time. Over here it was smaller, over here is bigger. If your x value is bigger, you're going to have a fraction. So I know 9 to the power of 2 is 81, but I want to make that a fraction, so it's just going to be half. 1 over that 2. Okay? It gets even more difficult. Log to the power of half and 1/8. Now they're both fractions, but keep in mind, half is still bigger than 1/8. Like if you eat half a pizza versus 1/8 of a pizza, you're eating way more. The x value is still bigger, so it's still going to be a whole number. I know 2 to the power of 3 is 8, so your answer is still 3. Okay? So hopefully that wasn't too terribly fast. But if you just follow this pattern and you look, and when you get different numbers, oh, I see the pattern, and you can just go with it, okay? So that's evaluating logs. That's your first section. That's your R4. Your R5 is evaluating natural logs, okay? They are a little bit different. Let me get that example up. Oop, wrong way. Okay, natural logs. So natural logs look a little bit different. You still have log the power of e and x, okay? But when you have it in natural logs, it's just going to look like ln and x. This whole section right here is the same as this one. Okay, those are the same. So you're basically doing the same thing again. Okay, but for example, if you have 3 ln to your exponent, okay, this is what your problem looks like. When this e, the exponent, okay, doesn't have a, when the e doesn't have an exponent, like right here, there's nothing there, we're going to assume that it's 1. So all you have to do now is do 3 times that 1. Okay, so all you're doing is moving things around, and this is simple multiplication, but you just need to know which ones to multiply. Okay, so let's try another one. What if we have 9 natural log e to the power of 6? Remember, you're going to multiply the outside one and the exponent. So 9 times 6 is 54. 9 natural log e to the power of 6 is 54. Okay, and you could plug that into a calculator. It needs to be a scientific calculator, but you could plug it in, you would get the same answer. Okay, now it is going to get a little more difficult. Let me back this up, move this a little bit so you guys can see more of the board. There we go. So it is going to get a little more difficult. Here we were multiplying, right? You just multiply, but here the problem says to divide. Remember, if e doesn't have an exponent, it's still 1. So instead of multiplying, you're going to do 1 divided by 8. Well, 1 divided by 8 is just 1/8. So you would leave it in the fraction form. Okay? What if it doesn't have, I'm sorry, what if it has e42 over 2? Hopefully, oh, you can't see that. Okay, what if it's like that? You still take the exponent and divide it by the denominator. Before we multiplied, here's dividing, division bar. Okay, so all you would do is do 42 divided by 2, 21. So natural log e to the power of 42 divided by 2 is 21. Okay, so once you get the hang of it, this is not very difficult. Remember, over here too, if this number isn't there, it's assumed a 1. So say if this is just ln e to the power of 6, it's 1 times that 6 is 6. Okay, so hopefully that's okay. That's all for natural logs. Now we need to do changing the base. This does get a little tricky. Let me see if I can move my pictures here. Yeah, stupid phone. Okay, this one gets tricky. There's, how many types of these? 3 types of them that we have to do. 3 different types, okay? If it says quotient of 2 in common laws or common logs, okay? If it has log 841, okay? All you do, because remember, we're changing the base. We're just moving things around, okay? As long as it's common logs, that means they got something in common here. So all you're going to do, oh, it's a division bar, log 41 over log 8. That's your answer. All you're doing is moving things around. So you're going to take the log of the outside number over the log of that little number right there. Okay, and in order to do that, you need to use some special buttons that are in IXL. The fraction button looks like this. Make sure and use that button and do each block at a time. Okay, now what if we have log 36. Okay? This little exponent down here, if it's not there, it's not 10 this time. It's 1 because of the way it's arranged. So it would be log 36 over log 1. It's just log 36. Okay? Just be careful. When I originally tried to do these examples, because yes, I work in IXL just like you guys do, okay? I tried to put it in like this, and it said, no, you're wrong. And I was like, wait, I don't understand. It wants log of 1 is just 1, okay? So you just have to be careful. You just have to remember that too. Simplify your fractions. Always simplify your fractions. Okay, now what if it said this would be common base? It doesn't matter what the base is, it's just the common base. They have it in common, a quotient of 2, something like that, okay? What if it had a base of 3? Base of 3. Okay, in this case, in the rest of these, you have to make sure and read the directions. If you don't read the directions, you're going to get them all wrong. And then it's going to get super frustrating. Once you get one wrong, please screenshot it, send it to me. I will help you. Okay, so they want log 832. Okay, if it's the base is 3, when you rearrange this, both top numerator and denominator are going to say log 3. And then you put 32, 8. Okay, that's it. And the way you put that in IXL is you're still going to use this function right here, but on top of that, once you get into this box, you have to use the one that looks like with a little box at the bottom. Okay, so you use this one, but then once you're in this top one and the bottom one, because you have to do the top and the bottom, you have to use this one too. Okay, now what if we don't know what the base is? This was a common base, this was a base of 3. What if we don't know what the base is? We're going to say base of x. Okay, log a over b. Now, whatever the base is, that doesn't matter. Remember, that's just what goes on top and the bottom, and then you would put b over a. That's it. Okay, remember, you would have to use this button and this button. Sorry, I was trying to look at it. This one and this one. Okay? Now, what if it has a natural log? We want to use the ln button like we just did in the last section. Okay, so let's try that. So if it had a natural log, remember, we're just moving things around. That's all we're doing. Okay, so if you have log of a over b, and we want to convert that to a natural log, you would do ln b ln a. That's it. And in order to do that, you need to use the box that looks like this, or the key that looks like this, the natural log key, just like that. Okay? Hopefully, once you guys get the hang of it, all 3 of these, they're not so bad. Like I said, they're just rearranging. You just need to practice rearranging. Yeah, you're going to get a couple wrong. I got a couple wrong because you try to go too fast sometimes. And I was like, man, I knew that, but that's okay. It's just part of practicing. Remember, these aren't due until Friday at 3:15. You guys have all week to work on all 3 of them. There's only 3. Okay? If you guys get stuck, like I've said many times, screenshot it to me and I will respond as soon as I can. Hope you guys are being safe, and I will hopefully see you soon. Okay? Bye.